Hello everyone, welcome to the week that was, and I forget the tagline. I'm Matt Lucas, and this is the Switchcast episode, where writers like myself are hosting. The guy on camera 1 moved a full 3 feet to the ever more complicated camera 2, and Steven left the show to form a country band called Old Farmer Steven and His Tractors, and subsequently got sued by Malama for stealing his idea. So with that, let's get right down to it. I think that's what Steven says, and good enough. Ace Frehley was hospitalized last night after a show with symptoms of exhaustion and dehydration. When admitted, Frehley said, "Just kiss it and make it better. I'm not snowblind, so just call Dr. Love because I have a show in Poughkeepsie and I'm dying to get back in the New York groove." Johnny Depp and Amber Heard issued an apology about not declaring her dogs upon arrival into Australia. The video's incredibly cringeworthy. It's like Australia kidnapped them, sobered Depp up, and then forced them to read a travel brochure warning them that Australia could look like Fury Road if he brings some dogs in. NASA reported that they saw odd dust from outside the solar system floating through space. But to be fair, scientists at NASA also snorted some odd dust before making this discovery. A new poll shows the gap between Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton in New York is tightening. Also tightening, Clinton's grip around her campaign manager's throat. Rachel Dolezal stated she's writing a book about a racial identity controversy. When they found out there's another white person writing about the black experience, Hollywood immediately offered a movie deal. A suspect was arrested in Seattle after body parts were found in a recycling bin. Not for murder, though, but for failing to compost properly. Bernie Sanders introduced hip-hop duo Run the Jewels this weekend at Coachella via a video message. In response, Hillary released a video of her playing Cards Against Humanity with some college students who were clearly paid for their time. A U.S. student was forced off a plane for speaking Arabic. Now, not only will Muslims banned from U.S. soil, but they'll also be banned from the sky in general. Ambassadors are holding auditions for the next Secretary General of the UN. Stay tuned with Ryan Seacrest as they search the world to find the next United Idol. A new McDonald's location is set to open in Missouri sometime this June, which will serve all-you-can-eat French fries. And get this, it's being called the McDonald's of the future. If all-you-can-eat French fries is the future, I don't think the planet can sustain our collective fatness for much longer. Screw global warming, we should worry about global fattening. A new infidelity sensing mattress sends phone notifications to users when in use. It was leaked that Hillary Clinton just pre-ordered hers. A top Navy official claims that Russian submarine activity is the highest it has been since the Cold War. The country recently stationed 6 subs in the Black Sea, which to me sounds like a lot of soggy sandwiches. James Cameron announced 4 sequels to Avatar. In an attempt to be more diverse, though, Cameron stated that the audience can look forward to orange, green, and purple people. We don't have a Kanye Tweet of the Week this week, but because Kanye was too busy editing songs from his 2013 album, Yeezus. I thought you missed the old Kanye. Why are you going back to change him? Unless you change the song and the new album to say you don't miss it? I don't know. I'm confused. You know, I'm pretty good at this whole hosting thing. Can I stay? No? Can I at least keep the mug? Fine. I'll go back to the writer's room. We'll be back with more of the week that was right after this.
Welcome back to the super amazing Switchcast. I was originally in field production, but Ithaca College got pretty sick of us asking random people what they think of Ted Cruz. So, if you didn't know, The Week That Was got nominated as the best new show on ICTV. We hope we win, but even if we don't, that's okay. We're not sore losers. We're just a little black and blue, a little ice, and we'll be fine. So, to celebrate losing, we'd like to take a moment to recognize the honorable mentions of this year's Pulitzer Prizes. For investigative journalism, the team from Spotlight. That movie was amazing. I'm just glad it didn't actually happen. For best drama, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, anything with a large teenage fan base on ABC Family, and My Family During Thanksgiving. For music, the honorable mentions are Designer for making pandas even cooler, Zayn for being able to go a different direction, and finally Kanye for being the J.D. Salinger of Twitter. For public service, the overachiever in your freshman year writing class who was already a doctor without any borders, and of course, Kanye for claiming he is like Jesus. For editorial cartooning, what even is that? Judge Fudge, what is that?
I don't have time to rule on your motion. I'm far too busy being delicious.
For autobiography, This Land Is My Land by Clive Bundy, My Aunt Who Posts Her Whole Life on Facebook, and That Senior Whose Thesis is an interpretive dance piece about his life. For novel, Beverly Cleary for Still Being Alive, and Kim Kardashian's selfie book. For history, Donald Trump for bringing 1940s Germany back to 2016 America, and people who continue to edit textbooks so that history is more sanitized or pro-American. For herstory, I'm just messing with you. Brazil's only female president was just impeached. Who are we kidding? For investigative reporting, Sean Penn for leading the FBI to Mexico's drug lord. For poetry, I don't remember. Maybe it was a haiku refrigerator. Best new Instagram account, Pope Francis and Northwest. For Best Actor, Leonardo DiCaprio. Oops, wrong awards. For Best Actress, Hillary Clinton and her multiple characters. For Best Commercials, Ted Cruz and his children. For commentary, definitely Kanye West's Twitter account. For local reporting, moms on Facebook were posting everything they see on Facebook. And last but not least, for the best show that's cutting to break right now, the week that was.
Our story today is about Chipotle, and if you're a fan of America's favorite disease dumpster, you may want to go ahead and finish your carnitas bowl first. The first started for Chipotle back in August when some bad tomatoes infected 81 people in Minnesota with salmonella. Now, if you're from Minnesota, you might have gotten a bit excited to hear about salmon. Unfortunately, the reality is a lot more sick, and not in a good way. Chipotle shouldn't feel too bad about the tomato thing though, because when it comes to rotten tomatoes, Batman vs. Superman has a way worse track record than Chipotle. Around the same time in California, Chipotle reported to the local health department that 17 of their employees were ill with norovirus. Don't worry, these 17 brave souls made it to work anyway, and then managed to infect 234 people with the virus. 234? That's about as many critics who voted rotten on Batman vs. Superman. The CEO of Chipotle, also known as the whitest guy to ever own a Mexican restaurant, was suspiciously quiet during all of this. Chipotle claimed that there were isolated events and they were able to keep doors open in every single store, even through 2 health scandals. That was until this happened.
State officials in Oregon and Washington said Tuesday that 35 cases of E. coli are now linked to Chipotle Mexican Grill. The officials added that a dozen cases involving the fast food chain were in Oregon, while the remainder occurred in Washington.
Chipotle once claimed to be the healthy alternative to fast food, if there is one. Now, the only way it'll help you lose weight is when you're stuck at home on the toilet. It's like Chipotle got the salmonella and norovirus combo and then added E. coli for an extra $1.80. The Center for Disease Control launched an investigation to find the source of the outbreak and forced Chipotle to close all 43 restaurants in Washington and Oregon. Right after that, there was another outbreak of norovirus in Boston where another 120 people were infected. Sounds like a classic rivalry to me, but instead of East Coast versus West Coast, it's norovirus versus E. coli. Dawn of intestinal distress. The list goes on and on. By the end of 2015, over 500 people nationwide reported infection as a result of Chipotle restaurants. And what do you know? Chipotle's chief executive officer finally made a statement.
This is a hard time for you guys.
It's a really tough time. But first, I have to say I'm sorry for the people who got sick. They're having a tough time, and I feel terrible about that. And we're doing a lot to rectify this and to make sure that this doesn't happen again.
They're having a tough time? That's very sympathetic. Even though I'm sure you think you're the one having a tough time since your paycheck will be short $1 million or $2 million. But honestly, it really was noble of pedophile Lex Luthor to apologize for infecting hundreds of people with diseases. And he's right. They're doing a lot to try to rectify the situation.
Chipotle is giving away free burritos to combat empty stores and lack of customers after a bad E. coli breakout that made it close many of its stores nationwide. The chain made its first big push with free food on February 8th after the outbreak and other incidents sent sales plunging. They have used this approach to avoid alienating customers entering and viewing empty stores. Chipotle has given over $3 million worth of free food so far.
So generous, Chipotle. What's a better way to make people forget a national shutdown due to health violations than by offering free burritos the very next day? This is not the only promotion that Chipotle has been forcing down people's throats to make them forget about the outbreaks. They offered $50 off catering during the Super Bowl, gave away free guacamole and chips for playing a video game, and supposedly celebrated youth soccer by offering buy one, get one free deals. These promotions have been costly and ultimately ineffective. Chipotle reported they lost this quarter, its first loss since it's opened back in 2006. And it was a big one. They reportedly lost $30 million just between January and March. I guess it turns out there are consequences for infecting 500 people and counting, and then trying to sweep it under the rug. I would take notes, Sodexo. Well, that's it. It's been a fantastic season 2 of The Week That Was. I'd like to thank my producers for this amazing opportunity and thank the writers and crew for doing a great job. You're all amazing, and obviously our show is on par with that of John Oliver, am I right? Yeah, woo! No. This has been Stephen Carlton, signing off from The Week That Was. Good night, everyone.